Okay, guys, let's just kick off and then introduce you to what we're doing today. So, compliments of the season, guys. I hope you had a restful holidays. Some people hustled through the holidays, typical of us folks in Nigeria, but this is Nigeria across the world, and indeed we are talking about Africa. For those who have forgotten and who probably haven't been introduced, let me introduce myself. I'm Manny Asika. I'm a tech salesman during the day, and at night I tell stories, and we try to bridge the digital divide. My day job, I lead HP's operation in Nigeria, and I lead the channel sales for HP in East and West Africa. And then when I do this, it's me trying to be at the forefront to bridge the digital divide, because we believe strongly that most of the solutions of the problems that we have today are tech related, whether it's cybersecurity, AI, data analysis, and all of the rest that we've had great conversations about on this forum. It's a pleasure for me to spend the last few days, the last 2 days, last 1 day of the year with you. And what a year it has been. I know that the year has been fraught with challenges, and in fact, that's how I'll start. Tell me how your year has been in the comment section. How has it been for you? For some people, it's been growth. I hear someone say growth. It's been challenging for some. How has it been for you in 2023? Okay, so 2023 has had its up and downs, but we have made some progress here at Maniville series. So when we look back, by the end of this series, we would have giving out 12 laptops. And it's not just 12 laptops, it's 12 guys who have begun their tech journeys. That also reminds me of a question that we kept on asking during the build up to this session. How many laptops you think will be given out today? Now, 12 is a clue for if you've been with us from the very beginning, then you would probably know exactly what is the balance to go to get to 12. But send your guesses as well on the comment section, and let's see if we'll reward someone who guesses correctly. All right. Okay. So don't forget again that the fundamental criteria for winning anything in this series is for you to be absolutely engaged, absolutely commenting, and being immersed in everything that we do. All right. Why are we here at the Maniville series? We identified a problem. We don't talk about problems in any case, and we said this at the very beginning. We highlight the problems, but we're more interested in solutions. We're more interested in lighting the candle in the dark. And I mean, we have no problems with those who talk problems, because we believe that elevating conversations is a key to solving problems. All right. So we highlight the problems, but we try to create solutions as well. So we don't just talk solutions. We also try to create solutions. We try to address three fundamental things, which are the pillars of digital equity, and that runs through everything that we do. One is devices. We believe that for tech to thrive, you need devices, and we are very, very particular about that, and that's why we give out devices, laptops that can work. All right, HP laptops. All right, holla. We also believe in digital literacy as a strong pillar of digital equity, and that's why we have these conversations. So beyond these conversations, all the winners of our laptops also get to go through an academy where we help propel them to the next phase of their tech careers. And it involves a lot of support, a lot of training, and a lot of clarity sessions, just so that guys are not just getting devices, but also getting the trainings that they need to boot. And then finally, we also give out data because we believe data is a key pillar and a key aspect of digital equity. All right, so these are the things that we try to do every single time we have a Maniville live series. All right, so what do you expect today? Today, you're going to have a fabulous conversation on AI and cybersecurity with two industry heavyweights, and I'll talk about them in a bit. We're going to give multiple laptops. I've still not told you how many, but please keep guessing. Guys are taking notes. We're going to give multiple data subscriptions as well, just to help you also get, a bit more advantage as you engage in the tech world. We're going to also be inducting new members of the Single Click Academy, which is the academy that we talk. So once we talk about, so once we give you the laptops and you commit to the training, we also commit also to training you until you get to the peak of your tech career. All right. So it's a journey that just begins with this interaction that we have. All right, so please engage, guys. Just giving you the marching orders. Please engage. Sorosoke, like we say here in Lagos. Be passionate. All right, burn up the comment section. If you don't have any understanding of what's going on, please ask questions. And someone says 24 laptops. Absolutely, yeah. Okay, cool. Let's get straight to it. Why are AI and cybersecurity? These are buzzwords, clearly. And I suppose for us, we like to have an understanding because we believe it's an opportunity. When I was in the university, AI, cybersecurity were not courses of study, but now they're typically almost taking over the world. So we want to have an understanding of what this is. We're going to be novices today, and then we'll learn from the experts, and I'll let them guide us. You know, you may not learn everything that there has to learn about AI and cybersecurity here today, but at least hopefully we'll tickle your imagination, your curiosity, and then hopefully you'll realize that there's actually a career to pursue in cyber security and in artificial intelligence. Okay, cool. So let me invite my people to join me on stage. Did I miss... no questions yet. This is fine. Okay, cool. I want to request Mr. Olusola Amusan here. Sisi Nerd. Thank you. So let's see how easy this is. Technology, please don't fail me today. Hey, oh my God.
What's going on?
Oh my God, can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear. Can you hear me as well?
Yes, we can. Shola, I'm loving your glasses.
Thank
you know,
you.
Shola, you're like tech lifestyle, right?
He's living true to the AI thing.
20,
Hi guys.
2024, you know how it is.
And see the way we are twinning with our hoodies, right?
I know.
and guys, this was not planned though, by the way. This was definitely Sisi Nerd, you need to have one white. Okay.
Abi, I should have. I didn't get the memo.
But as a rebel that she is.
She has done it again.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're gonna start the questions, but please permit me to read the citation, and it's a brief citation for both of you guys. Okay. All right. So permit me to do that, and I'm going to start now. I'll start with Shola, okay, and then we'll go to because Sisi Nerd is like she's like not a stranger here. All right. So let me start with Shola today. All right. And besides, you know, this thing about ladies first, you know, Sisi Nerd has broken all the barriers. There's no advantage that we are giving her.
In fact, we're mostly at a disadvantage if we let you know.
Fantastic. But thanks, guys, for accepting. And I'll tell you guys a backstory about myself, Shola, and Sisi Nerd, just so you know. But I'll start with the profiles first. All right. Olusola Amusan is an artificial intelligence evangelist, disruptor, and serial technology entrepreneur. And I know this, by the way, firsthand. He's an Unleash alumnus, a Hive global leader. He's the author of Are You Branded or Stranded? 2010-2020. He's a global shaper in the World Economic Forum, a member of the Country Support Mechanism of the Global Community Engagement and Resilience Fund in Nigeria, and he's the president of the 8th session of the Africa Youth and Governance Conference. So permit me to say, Mr. President, by the way. Going forward. In January 2018, he started building a high-impact AI program that has trained over 1,000 junior AI experts on machine learning models using mostly Python and R, getting the attention of Facebook, Microsoft, World Bank, and Amazon Web Services. Guys, you should be paying me for these guys I'm bringing here, but okay, it's CSR. Olu is passionate about AI, and he's also the author of A to Z of AI Consulting. He's founded Coven Works, which has been backed by Google, C5 Capitals, Washington, D.C., and Amazon Web Services. Since 2021, Olu has been the CEO and co-founder of Vesti, a new bank for immigrants designed for community and information sharing, financial services, and smooth transitioning for immigrants. Vesti was founded to bring solutions to problems faced by immigrants and also afford them seamless transitions to their preferred destinations globally. He's passionate about social entrepreneurship and as a key to unlocking Africa's immense potential. Please give it up for Mr. Olusola Amusan. the first question I'm going to ask you, I'm packing this one just before getting to the question, is you need to tell us what Unleash and Hive is. I get that they're amazing stuff, but we'll pack that for now. That's the first thing that you're going to help us unravel. Okay, so then we go to Coco. my own Coco, Confidence Staveley, aka Sisi Nerd. She's a member of the house already. Confidence Staveley, I've always wondered why the name sounds so European and British. Is Africa's most celebrated female cybersecurity leader, author of API Security for White Hat Hackers. She's a talent developer and gender inclusion advocate. Coco excels in translating cybersecurity concepts into digestible insights for diverse audiences. Her YouTube series, API Kitchen, explains API security using culinary metaphors. Guys, if you're not subscribed, if you've not watched this, please, you are missing a lot. It's an experience every single time an episode airs. In its debut season, the series amassed over 500,000 views across social media, as Confidence served up a bouquet of API security wisdom. She recently won the Cybersecurity Woman of the World 2023 and holds several other recognitions. Look, she left Maniville series and went to collect an award. I will never forget.
Yeah, it's true.
She left the series and then went straight to collect an amazing award, and then we were hailing her. Thanks so much, and congratulations for breaking the barriers.
Thank you.
And doing great for women all over the world.
Thank you.
Now, beyond her advisory roles on various boards, she leads CyberSafe Foundation, a foremost NGO devoted to fostering a digitally inclusive and secure landscape in Africa. Guys, please give it up to Coco, Sisi Nerd, and to Olusola Amusan. I don't know. And this is like a blockbuster stellar cast that we have. Okay, guys, I mean, welcome to these guys, and I'm so glad. I was going to call this the international edition because, you know, people are connecting from everywhere in the world. I won't tell you from where we are connecting, but we're connecting from different continents, you know, and then we're coming live and direct to you because we believe so much in what we are doing. Shola actually introduced me to Sisi Nerd. You guys will not believe this. So he's a mentor and big brother of sorts in tech, and I'm so grateful for the relationship that we have. He's a very busy man, difficult to track down, understandably, but he decided to come here with us. Same thing with Coco. I can't afford to pay her, but you know.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
But here we are. So, guys, thank you again for coming. Let's just start because the guys really want to learn a lot about AI and cybersecurity. So, but Shola, I mean, what we do, I mean, before we begin going into the, you know, technical questions, that we would like to ask you one thing that people do not know about you. You know, you're very prominent on social media, and I think you guys are doing a great job in the way, you know, this social engineering works. But what's one thing we don't know? We know Vesti, we know Coven Works, of course. We know the great stuff. And I mean, you've done a lot of, you know, startups across Africa as a continent. But tell us something that we don't know, something that we'll go home with knowing that I got to peek into Shola's life today.
Oh, well, I try to think about what people don't know about me because I'm not so much of a, I usually will talk about what I'm doing and let people go through the story and all of that. Maybe one thing most people may not know because I haven't quite done it in, like, say, the last 2 years. And those who are new followers may not know is the fact that I'm very passionate about languages, especially languages I think maybe at the risk of extinction, but that are so deep and wonderful. So I'm passionate about Yoruba. I'm like a Yoruba broadcaster. Like I can speak entirely for maybe an hour, like in my local language, and give poems and anecdotes and proverbs and I'm finding ways to interject it. And maybe I'll talk about the Yoruba Large Language Model Initiative today. So yeah, I'm really passionate. In fact, I had an Instagram account that was sold in Yoruba.
Are you serious?
So yeah, so I think that's maybe that's one thing. Does that pass for it?
Oh, definitely.
My goodness. Okay.
Definitely. But can you tell us something? Can you say one? Give us a sneak peek. I mean, I'd love to hear that. I mean,
okay, yeah. So
one
maybe
point.
I'll give you like the oriki of
Yeah,
cassava ege.
Okay.
So ege koko bi efon so igi konko to so igi to ki borogun di mo de tin ba ni fo mu ape ege nbo se mo re ọkọ to sha. O ba baba la igi goro ni gbe won lo. O pata wo pegbon o mu duro fi le edo kiri. O ni iya be mi ni diwo ni ọmọ bi tin se oni se mi oyo na fi polo ya gbegre na fi poni jombo. Ẹni tó yìnbó rí tó bú rẹ̀ lérè pé where is ẹ̀gẹ́? Ó sì dá lóhùn pé ẹ̀gẹ́ ìsàtò ẹ̀gẹ́ wà lé.
Don't be fooled by his Americanness. The guy is a Yoruba man. To the call, man. Duolingo can't put anything on this one. Trust me.
Absolutely nothing.
It's got nothing.
Got nothing on it.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So the languages thing, I never knew, Shola, absolutely, and it's a great thing to know. By the way, well done. Now, Coco, you have told us. See, you've told us something about yourself. I want guys to see if they remember. I never forgot this. I have never forgotten this. And I've imagined this in my mind a lot of times, but you're going to give us another one. Guys, who remembers that thing that Coco told us about that she did? Who can remember us? Who can remember?
I doubt they remember.
Why they don't remember, guys? Okay.
You know that thing on Instagram, like how would they know?
Oh,
They'll never know.
How would they know?
How would they know? Okay, so if I was to say one thing, I think I'm going to just borrow from Shola's playbook, right? I people don't know that I used to blog about food, and I used to blog about like phonography. So I take pictures, like very breathtaking pictures on my phone, and I used to post them on a handle. It still exists. It's called Arty Towel. So it's RT, like ARTY, then towel. So I used to TAWO.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I used to do phonography, and I used to blog about food. My handle was Longer Throat. So if you go on Instagram, you will still find Longer Throat. And it's one of those things I
I'm gonna
regret
go look
stopping.
for that.
Yes, because I used to like the food porn was so good.
Oh, wow.
I used to also blog aside Instagram. I had a blog that was ranking really high because I would write and you would picture me eating, literally. So I love food a lot. I hunt food down. I go to new restaurants every now and again, and I love to explore food. So if there's something you want to know about me that you didn't know, I used to blog about food. I love food, and I used to write about it, and I used to take lovely pictures of food, and I also used to take landscape pictures sort of on my phone.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she's an expert. I won't tell you what eventually we've done with food. But okay, so let's not talk about that and move on. Yeah. But by the way, guys, remember that you are a dancer, just so you know. I've seen.
I saw a couple of that as well.
Guys, remember that you're a dancer and a foodie. What an amazing combo. Okay, cool. Right. Now, this one as well, Shola, goes to you because for us, we like to see the backstories, all right? I mean, it's easy to see you on social media looking dapper, making millions of dollars. Yeah, making millions of dollars on but we like to hear the backstories, and this, I think, essentially is what will help people succeed. People like the glitz and the glamour, but they don't really know what goes on in the background, all right, behind the scenes. Some of the unsexy stuff that happens, all right? So this question is, what's your tech story? What made you attracted to tech? And AI, you may just want to throw that in as well, but let's do the tech story because you're a tech bro, right? You're a tech pioneer, all right? So what was that thing that turned the light bulb on?
So for me, it started from just a curiosity for computers. I think I saw my first computer maybe at the age of maybe 6 or 7, like in primary school. My dad has a primary school, and he brought a computer guy who brought a computer. Like, then you actually brought a computer to visit people in schools. Like, this guy brought a computer, and it's like, what are the characteristics of a computer? A computer can talk, a computer can this, a computer can that, those are like the thing. Like, we went to this dark room for us to be able to see like MS-DOS prompts like show up on the computer screen, and then there were some things that the computer was saying about setup and all of that. So I would go on many years later to a high school that was a boarding house, and the proprietress bought a computer, and there was computer lab time, where basically that's the only time you saw computers, like during the week, every Thursday or every Tuesday, you know, they would have computer time. But because I was living in the boarding house, I would have extra computer time. So we would sneak into the library. We had a way of finding the key. We would sneak into the library. We would sometimes jump the windows. We just get in and spend a lot of time, like almost the entire Saturdays, like with the computer to learn how it works. So it made us better than all the other guys when we got back to school. So it was an unfair advantage. And then by the time I got back home from high school, my dad had bought their own school computer. And what was considered like, okay, now our son is back from high school, he understands how to operate the computer. Once they dropped the computer, I was the one who knew everything, apart from the computer guy who came to set it up for them. Now they made me the typewriter, the typist. They made me the exam typist. Like all the exams for the school, I would have to word process everything before the day of the exam. So I had to be fast in typing. I had to know the worst ones were mathematics examination, where you had to put like the parentheses, superscript, subscript, just to make the maths formula look great. It was really, really tough for me, but it became something interesting. And then my mom would make me type entire PhD thesis of people in theology and all of that. Like, I won't call it make me type, because yes, I was on holidays. I was waiting for jam. Jam was jamming me like a couple of times. So I had the chance to do all of that, like use Encyclopedia Britannica, Carta, all of those things I was installing. I was doing all of that. So it sort of introduced me to Macromedia Flash, introduced me to a Visual Basic. You know, then when I was writing Jam and I didn't pass, when I write Jam I didn't pass, it was awful. I wanted to do pharmacy because my mom's uncle.
Tim, we did not pass Jam.
Let's gather here.
Let's gather here. Let's have a WhatsApp chat.
My mom's uncle was in the department of pharmacy in OAU, so it just made sense. That was their role model, that somebody who was doing pharmacy. So why don't you study pharmacy? So apparently that's what I was feeling, because that pharmacy was not just pharmacy at all. So I went on to do a diploma in computer technology as a sort of like stopgap, because my mom was doing the same program. So me and my mom were literally like classmates. She was like in mid-career, wanted to go and learn computing because she's a library and archival at the teaching hospital. So basically they were now digitizing everything. So she learned from that same diploma, and then she said, oh, that would be useful for me. So I took all our materials, went to the diploma, dusted everybody, because it was just computing and all of that. You know, and that was really where I felt like, why don't I just do this computer thing as a, career, and then that would mean switching from Fikenbau to writing mathematics in JAMB, which wasn't my strength at all. Like maths wasn't my strength, even though it wasn't the reason why I was feeling JAMB, but it wasn't my strength as well. So went on to write mathematics, got into a pretty great program in FUTA, and then got into computing. Well, what makes it different? Because studying computer science and getting to tech are two different things.
I agree.
What makes it different was that by the time I got into FUTA, I had a head start of the diploma program and totally knew that the lecturers were teaching rubbish. So it was that rebellion, like, what is this? 477 in 2007, what's going on here? I'm like, nah. So we set up a computer institute. I didn't even know what an institute meant then. We call it Software Developers Research Initiative for Nigeria. Oh my goodness. I was like the executive director. They were chairman of research, chairman of engineering, we were doing all of that. I didn't know all those names were going to get us in trouble until we were in front of the dean of students. Oh my goodness. You are chairman, you are executive director. Like, I don't understand. Like, you this year wants to... From where to where? From where to where? Like, you even know what an institute is. It's like, you want to form a university inside the university. So it was all that curiosity and trying to learn. Then VB.NET came out, then C# came out, and the .NET framework came out. We built the university's first database, actual electronic database, rather than just storing data in files. We just, brought Google to our university, Opera to our university, Microsoft Student Partner program to our university. Some of the pioneer programs became part of the Global Imagine Corp, produced 2 teams that won, nationally and went international, and it just became like, then we set up a vision called the FUTA E-Possibility Vision 2012. 11 years ago. That vision was that FUTA was going to be Nigeria's leading IT university by the end of the decade. And so nobody was offering that price to anybody. So it materialized in terms of people going global and just like going ballistic with like initiatives and all of that. So that was my foray into tech. Like I built a couple of apps that, you know, critics would call applets. Because they didn't mean so much. But I built apps on the Windows platform when the mobile platform thought it was going to be a thing, and we just kept going and kept going like that. And you know that journey one journey led to the other, and that's like I would say I got into technology, and it's been a ride ever since. Like just being curious about new technology, what's gonna. But it started from those decisions, and I must not fail to mention the sacrifice of my mom, like taking cooperative loans twice. In my year one, got me my first laptop. So it was like maybe 4 or 5 of us that had a laptop in the old class. You know, that's why I found out I studied computer science. Everybody had to wait for lab time because they were so expensive to buy. You know, and the second, and by the time I broke that one the first year, I thought it was going to be a problem. She bought another one with cooperative money the second year. And we're not rich, but she just felt like, you know, it looks like this computing thing is going to help this guy, and you know, so I think that
she was right.
Those things stood out for me.
Yeah,
she was right. Turns out she was right. Yeah. So again, sorry, I took a lot of time.
No, it's fine.
Like the story.
We needed to hear this, and thank you so
sorry,
much.
Manny, can I just chip in there into like what Shola said? Shola, I think, and maybe I don't know if you realize this, but all of those PhD theses that you typed, I'm sure you didn't just type them. Some of them got into your head. You know, because you learned a lot from all of that. Because it won't be passive.
The theology thesis, especially, there's a lot about like. Yeah, you know, you write like the significance of Paul's journey to Antioch, the significance of Paul's journey to the significance of Paul's letters to the Thessalonians, the significance of no, it was really, really rich. Like it really helped me. I think it helped I think I've never connected it to perhaps how it helped my like literary thinking or oratory prowess and maybe all of those things. Exactly. I've never really connected it to confidence. I would look at my speaking in literary and debating society as maybe what contributed to it. But I think just spending a lot of time like fellowshipping with knowledge in that way, like privately with the encyclopedia, with all of that, I think maybe even like the encyclopedia gave me a worldview, perhaps the whole idea of wanting to go global. I've never connected
because these things are very subconscious. Yes, they're very subconscious. You're just loading up on your knowledge base, or your knowledge bank.
Interesting. Look at knowledge just being shared everywhere, all over the place, shattering everything. I mean, I'm an English student, and I heard Shola say fellowshipping with knowledge. I'm like, God damn, the guy is using literary skills on me. Okay, fine. But good, Shola, thanks. I mean, I think that's great. And I think I just wanted to use that also as an opportunity to tell guys, I mean, you'll find knowledge and inspiration in the most unlikeliest of places. And sometimes what seems like is going to be a bore, it's a drag, you know, maybe even they punish you, you know, turns out to be something that defines your life and defines your career. If he was a rebel and said that he didn't want to do what his parents were asking him to do in terms of the typing and all of that, that would have robbed him of something absolutely critical in his career. All right, thanks. And guys, please note these things down, all right, because I think that we may come back to them in a few minutes. And I see, look, I know that Coco is full of stories, so I'm going to ask her to tell us one more about stuff that we is it what stuff we don't know about you. We know that you dance, we know your tech story, and that's one that resonates with me so much. I love it, you know, but if there's some angle that you want to put into this, that would be lovely, Coco.
Okay. I mean, I think that a lot of us that, you know, our parents wanted us to do some things had to do with the medical field, and then we ended up in tech. So, I mean, I share, again, a similarity with Shola. Mine was being a medical doctor, and I mean, just as aside from that as well, my father still is having his dreams up, and I've told him, you know what, we are going to be Dr. Confidence, right? But maybe that will be honorary, because you see this PhD collect work, you know, so maybe honorary, you know, there'll be one university that will say, you know, come on back, you know, come on collect, you know, but my parents really wanted me to be a medical doctor, and for a long time I thought I was going to be one. I thought it was my dream to be one. And then gap year again, jammed me. No, jam did not jam me first. My parents were like, you know what, take a gap year before you go to university, go and just sit around the house, go and learn computer, just get busy, go and learn how to use this computer thing. And I got there and I started learning how to do the things, very simple things, type and all these kind of things. But then going past that, I started getting exposed to coding, like very standard stuff, the CSS, the HTML, and then graduated to JavaScript, and then started going on to C and all of that. And I was like, oh my God, this is life. I was seeing blank canvas coming to something else. I was getting my creator power. And let me share this with you. I'm a person of faith, and I believe that God made us all creators. When you step into your creator era, or the time when you get to create, something in you is just alive, right? It just wakes up. And so for me, that was the season for me. My parents could see the spark in my eyes, and I wrote Jam jammed me. I would go on to why the jam jammed because I don't owe anybody explanation. Jam jammed me. Right?
You did not know book.
I did not know book. So
the genius were
not been. Anyway, jammed me, and I had to go back. I had to go back right again, and I did got an admission to study medicine. ABU Zaria was the school. So admission had come and I was like, okay, it's time to go. I was like, I will leave this and still go to medicine. No, it's not going to happen. So what I did was I couldn't afford a computer at that time, and that's why, Manny, what you're doing is amazing, and I thank you so much. Back in the day, I had two options: go to a cafe, internet cafe. Are those things still in existence? I think they are, right? But it's so I'll go to an internet cafe, I will buy time and use the computer. And the most preferred option is this one. I'll go to that computer school and then take some time in the lab and just use the computer. So I didn't have a computer, but I needed to make a presentation to my parents. So what I did was I bought cardboard papers, right? And I wrote what I needed to write per slide in those cardboard papers. I would lift it, make my pitch, drop it, lift it, make my pitch, drop it, right? So I made my pitch to my parents. And this is a key thing I also tell people till today, right? Yeah. When you want to pitch, use things that profit the other person or things that the other person can also relate with while you're pitching, right? So for me, it was my mother's words. My mother used to say, you cannot outperform a passionate person. So during my pitch as well, I started off my pitch with saying, you cannot outperform a passionate person, right? And that was what broke the ice for me. And I shared, and I could see like the light in my eyes. I could see how excited. And my mom used to say those things in the light of, even if you're a sheet packer, if you're passionate with packing sheets, you'll be wealthy packing sheets. Do you know what I mean? So I just used that as well to them and said, this is something that you give me food. Sometimes I'm reading, and then you're giving me food on my books, like on my study table. So that's to say a lot. I used to forget that I've not eaten. So my parents just said, you know what, let's see how this goes. And just to also share some perspective, I'm a first generation graduate in my family. Like, there's never been a graduate in my family. It's after me that we now had graduates, right? So my parents could not relate with a lot of what I was saying, but key thing was, and then we didn't have reference points, so we didn't have a Shola, they could point out. We didn't have Sisi Nerd that was doing well in tech. I said, okay, this is a point of reference, because honestly, our parents were not being wicked. They were only, we're insurance for them, right? They want to make sure that you're doing something that will make sure you're independent financially. And then, of course, you're also insurance in the future in terms of retirement, right? They want to be sure that you can also take care of them. So in all fairness to them, they were trying to guide us to the profitable careers, but those were not necessarily the only careers of the future. There were careers of the future that they couldn't see, like AI, for example, that Shola is doing, or cybersecurity that I'm doing. So it was then my own responsibility to then paint that picture, which I did, and my parents bought in. And then I went on to do, first and foremost, an advanced diploma in software engineering. So that was where I started off. And funny thing is, again, when passion is guiding you, is that those dots have connected. So I started off with advanced diploma in software engineering, moved on to a first degree in IT and business information systems on a scholarship. I was lucky. And then I went on to do a master's in IT management. It was during my master's that I got in contact with cybersecurity through an elective called cryptography. So, but right now, the work I'm doing with API security ties back to software development, because if I don't know the issues around it. I cannot secure. Do you get me? I can't secure code that I don't know how to be, like, I don't know anything about. I can't read lines of code or anything like that. I can't help people who write code. But because I have that background, it's made me more versatile. That doesn't mean you can't come into cybersecurity without coding. But yeah, that was what happened for me. And I mean, that whole journey is telling of a couple of things. The fact that passion will make a way, and then you should also be able to bring in your stakeholders. For Shola, you see how he tackled his own managing his own stakeholders, because their support is very key. And I mean, we're lucky to have parents who have our best interests. I mean, if you look at it, Shola, I'm sure with all of your work, African and Asian families, generally what we want is, be the biggest you can possibly be because of where we are coming from, and just advance us as well. And I mean, I'm very grateful to my parents for their support.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. There are two things I want to point out so that we don't forget. Coco, I saw you reject a doctorate degree once, by the way. So yeah, I remember that when you mentioned this. So it's not all kind of doctorate degrees.
It's not just any type. We are picky.
You're picky. Right now, you are very picky, right? And then talking about the pitch, whether it's the one that Shola made or the one that you made. Guys, when you do make the pitch for the laptop, the 1 minute pitch eventually, please don't tell me about, you are suffering your life and how things are hard. Talk about what you're passionate about, because that's what we want to see. We want to see the passion. We want to see that you really know what you're doing, and this laptop can help you when you do that. Having said that, also, guys, that you're feeling jam is not the end of the world. Everybody has feel jam, clearly. But we're still where we are. Hopefully, making some impact in our various fields. All right, let's go straight into artificial intelligence. Shola, please help us. What exactly is artificial intelligence in layman's terms? I mean, and how exactly can that help us, really?
Yeah, so artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science. It's always important for us to say that it takes its roots from computing, and it's humans' attempt to simulate intelligent human behavior in computers. So to break it down, we're trying to make a computer intelligent, and we're picking that intelligence from the concept of intelligence as humans. So when I ask my students to explain it to an 8-year-old, it is anything, any system that exhibits intelligence. Now, that is the easiest way for a layman to understand it. However, in the understanding of AI, there are lots of debates around the spectrum of intelligence. So I've described, for example, in new open classes, when people are just starting, I say, have you seen a smoke detector before? Like, this system basically has a sensor. When the smoke levels in the room go above a certain level, it makes noise. When the smoke level goes below a certain level, it doesn't make noise anymore. If a human is in a room and the smoke level is at a certain level, they will leave the room because they feel uncomfortable. So essentially, the spectrum of AI can go from that simple smoke detector to something as powerful as a full humanoid robot that uses what we call AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, which is like the very point where we can say a computer's knowledge matches the intelligence exhibited by a human. So think about it from like the smallest, anything you can see around you that exhibits any form of intelligence. Like, people really talk about AI, without knowing that it's all around us. Like, it could be as simple as a software that can predict what the stock market will look like next year, or a chair that adjusts to your height by itself once you walk into a room because it can see you. Like, the same way when we say technology, the bias is usually that it has to do with computer technology, not knowing that actually a chair that obeys the laws of physics is actually technology, because it helps you to, it holds up your weight and all of that. So, but this is not to sensationalize or reduce the effort of people who are pushing the barriers on artificial intelligence. But one of my greatest passions is to be able to see AI used in day-to-day life, and more importantly, be useful for people who are not necessarily the creators of the technology itself. So artificial intelligence is like fire. In every way, it's dual intent. When fire came, we could cook our food better. And then it could burn us, and we could burn entire villages down. So like everything that is dual intent, a gun can protect, a gun can kill. Artificial intelligence has it's two sides, and it's so deep that when I say deep, I'm not saying it in terms of complexity, because the human mind can comprehend everything a human mind created. but it's deep in the sense that the effect of it is not yet understood. Like when fire was created, we didn't know how far it could take us. The earliest thing I can compare this to is the invention of photography, and how it transformed like everything from like, how we can relive the past to seeing the future, how we can change from artists having to paint people to actually being able to preserve memories. So what artificial intelligence will be to every fabric of human existence is yet to be known and comprehensible by even humans ourselves. It's like the internet of intelligence. It's and I'm using internet now as a, in a different way. I'm using it as a verb. Sort of like it's sort of like internet works, interconnects, explains, all forms of intelligence. And at the beginning of the decade, I wanted to write a book on the age of intelligence. I didn't even know that things were going to blow up like this. But in 2020, I was going to work on some script. Maybe I'll say write it. I don't know, on the age of intelligence. And it's basically like, hey, we would, even before the end of this decade, and even in the next decade, we'll find out that there is more intelligence beyond artificial intelligence and human intelligence. There's going to be like additional intelligences. I have this theory that the aliens are here already, and there's going to be like a fusion of human intelligence and artificial intelligence. We'll call it something else. Maybe we'll call it sentience. We'll call it whatever it is we want to call it. But to break it down real simply, it's basically the attempt of humans to simulate intelligent behavior in computers. That's like the most widely spread definition of artificial intelligence.
Fantastic. That's the good way to start. Guys, I'll tell you something that I picked out, and then I'll ask Shola, two questions, and then I'll move over to Sisi Nerd. Shola said something, I don't know if you guys caught it, that there's nothing that the human mind can comprehend anything that a human mind has created. All right? Yes. Now that's as deep as it gets, right? So those of you who think you couldn't pass jam. For those of you who think you could not comprehend mathematics, which was my case, because I came from an English background, but now I'm doing tech, and obviously you know that a lot of things in tech is science-based, right? But we're able to transition, right? But that's great, and if that's the only thing I've learned today, I definitely take it down, and I'll have rights to it, Shola. If that's your quotes, right? But I'm taking permission for that now. Now, the thing is, I know that it's very deep, and someone mentioned it. Guys, all your questions, please put it on the Q&A box, all right? Don't put it on the this comment section, so that we can talk about the questions, because we'll have like 10, 15 minutes just to talk about the questions that you're asking. Shola, how did you veer into artificial intelligence? I mean, I know the tech bit and all of that. How did you decide to go into artificial intelligence? And then tell us as well how we can monetize artificial intelligence and how we can make a career out of it. Because I have young guys, and let me tell the audience. So we have young guys coming out of school, guys who are just starting out, who are very excited about tech, and there's so many branches of tech. Sell AI to us. I mean, is this something worth pursuing? All right, so two questions. How did you veer into AI? And then how can it be monetized, and how can we make a career out of it?
Yeah, so I study science, and I'm sort of like a follower of many futurists. So I sort of believe in like understanding what the trends are, what tomorrow is going to look like and all of that. My first exposure to any form of like what would eventually turn to AI for me was a course I took in the university called Expert Systems. So Expert Systems is also a branch of computing that essentially takes the knowledge of an expert, preserves it using computer technology, so that knowledge of that expert is continually experienced like throughout time. Expert system would be maybe just one subset of artificial intelligence today. And it would even be done not the way traditional computing does it, because with traditional computing, you have to use rule-based systems, if-then systems, to create it. So if somebody asks for this is what you should tell them. Somebody asks for this, what you should tell them. AI goes a lot farther than that. That's why when people tell me things like, if all of us are searching for the same thing on ChatGPT to tell us the same thing, no, it won't. Like, it's machine learning. It's like, the same way if somebody asks you a question, like, if 50 people ask you different questions, you can answer 50 different ways, right? And think about that as infinite now. Think about that as 500 million ways, like numbers that the human mind is not even conscious
500,000
about.
what if statements.
You know, just 500,000 what statements. Like, you can't even control 50, because I used to write like those kind of systems. If then, else if.
Else if.
You know, you know, but now, I think about like quantum ways of being able to define this. So expert system was my first experience of foyer into artificial intelligence. Then I joined Microsoft, and that changed my life. When I joined Microsoft, I didn't join Microsoft just as like somebody who just wanted a job. I joined Microsoft as somebody who considered it as a miracle, like who considered it as like, this is like how my destiny gets formed. This is how I, get to, come into full potential of my purpose and understand like how this thing is going to be. So I was a curious mind at Microsoft. I borrowed the highest number of books that anybody who had worked in the Microsoft Nigeria subsidiary had ever borrowed from the Microsoft library in Seattle. Like, I would ship those books to Nigeria for free because they were all free, like entire boxes for the whole year, and those books were free to ship, free to order, but I was just really curious. Like, I was donating software technology of Microsoft to multiple organizations. So software that were not even like in direct view of most people, like I had access to it. One of those things I had access to very early was called the Azure Machine Learning Studio. So Azure, basically Microsoft Cloud, dominating all over the world. Microsoft Azure became like the darling of Microsoft at that time. Essentially, Nigeria was becoming the cloud capital of the world because they sold more new accounts in Nigeria than in any other place for Azure at the time. It was remarkable. So I got access to Azure Machine Learning.
Sorry. Shall I say that again?
Yeah, I'm saying that for Microsoft that year, most people didn't know, but they sold more new accounts for Microsoft Azure in Nigeria than anywhere in the world. Like companies like Access Bank, Diamond, companies like Guarantee Trust, companies like First Bank, like many of these guys were buying Azure in millions of dollars, basically like transforming their cloud. And that also speaks to the testament of the type of people that were selling, Microsoft Azure at the time in Nigeria. So they used to call us the cloud capital of the world. Like we were selling more, than most people. So I got access to see what Azure Machine Learning Studio was. And then I stumbled on a couple of research papers. I use this as an example all the time because I want people to understand the thinking behind how I discovered this, so that if tomorrow Confidence and I are doing quantum physics or doing like something that is not what we're doing right now, you won't be wondering, how do they even find what the next frontier is going to be? So it's basically about like Gartner, McKinsey and Company, Accenture. These guys spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, every year doing research into what will be next. I can't survey 500 CIOs of Fortune 500 companies, but McKinsey already did for 2023. Gartner already did. All I need to do is pick up the report, read it in one breath, get the knowledge that I need to get from it to know what is next. So that year was 2018. I knew data science was the next. How did I know? They said by the year 2021, the world will need more data scientists than it can produce. So essentially, companies like Boeing had gone to the University of Washington in Seattle, and they established an entire department there, and they paid for the facilities and said, we will hire every single data scientist that comes through this program for the next 5 years. It means that if you get admission in the University of Washington, you already had a job in Boeing by the end of your program. So I saw all of these investments, and those investments made me to realize that, hey, it looks like there is something here. So that trend was that machine learning was going to be a big deal in 5 years, exactly as they predicted. You saw what happened in 2023, like massive explosion of like AI and data science. So in 2018, I started a program which already became 5 years today, that started training people on data science and AI and all of that. And that's essentially how I got into artificial intelligence and became an artificial intelligence evangelist, to be able to say, listen, guys, there is a massive opportunity here that the world isn't seeing. Perhaps the only chance for Africans to be able to like secure their space under the sun. Listen, some of the things that Confidence has done, like has not been done by any person of our color. You don't understand. Like any person, it doesn't matter like where they live. They've not lived. Nobody has lived on this planet who has done like she might not think of herself as a big deal, but who has done the things that she has done in the combination of what she has done. Like it's unprecedented. It's important to understand that. So it's, as I predicted and as I thought, this was our only chance to secure our place under the sun. You know what it means? It means that if I am talking about artificial intelligence today, President Biden is going to listen. Like it's our chance. It's the only field that even advanced scientists in the United States are still asking questions. It means that somebody in Lagos, in Ibadan, in Kwara, in Accra, in Nairobi can pick up artificial intelligence and essentially be, the world best in it. Like, it's not something that you can say, oh, it's already been figured out and unraveled. That's really like the opportunity here. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. And when it comes to, because we don't have a lot of time, when it comes to how to monetize it, there's a plethora of ways. Like, there's just so many ways. Like, just so many ways. Just hosting sessions like this, running podcasts, writing books, I don't know how many copies of A to Z of AI consulting I've had to sell this year. Like, there's just a massive opportunity out there. There's like 1,000 topics in AI you can write about: ethics of AI, governance of AI, cybersecurity and AI, finance and AI, money and AI, education and AI. Like, every single thing intersects with this interesting field. The other thing you can do is actually be a creator. I am really passionate about seeing more creators. I want to see people. Well, when I say creators, the use of the word creators in 2023 and 2022 and 2023 has been, limited to TikTok and Instagram.
Exactly.
I'm talking about people who are going to build new algorithms, reinvent random forests, write all of these new algorithms again. Every single concept in mathematics, every formula in algebra, every formula in, abstract mathematics, every single neural pathway can be explored and people can create new things. The language of computers is zeros and ones. You go higher, you see assembly language. You go higher, you go to high level languages like, C#, like Java, like, and I'm not talking about frameworks now, I'm talking about languages. C#, Java, you see Python, you see R, you see Go, you see all of those languages. All these languages are high-level languages. Luckily for us, they are now frameworks. These frameworks essentially have already said things. All you just need to is to carry what has been said. So think about it. Lexeme and structure of languages, A, B, C to Z. That is, zeros and ones of computing. When you form words and you're able to speak words, that is programming languages, Python, C#, R. Now, when you now have frameworks, those are pages of books that have already been written. They're like articles. You can pick each of those articles and do something with it. These frameworks are all, essentially, frameworks are not like that. They're like, like when you talk about pages of books, they'll be like libraries. These libraries are there. Then the entire frameworks are like how to be able to get a book ready in a few weeks or in a few days rather than writing it for years. Those are frameworks. So these things are there. They're already there. So I want to see more creators who basically would go on and learn how to speak the language. There's a friend of mine, so good, such a good programmer, so good. I joke with him. I asked him a question about 9 years ago. I said, can you build anything? And he's like, can you say anything with English? He asked me the question. He said, can you say anything with English? I said, I can say almost anything with English.
Yeah, because it's an expression.
He said, if you can say anything with English, he said, I can build anything with programming languages. So that's essentially how it works. Like, it's like, there's almost nothing you're trying to express. Like, I don't know, maybe spiritual things where they're like, groaning too hard to mortar. But, if you know the language, like, I don't know if you've met people and like, when I listen to people like, Olakunle Shoriyan, when I listen to people like Wole Soyinka, when I listen to people like Chude Gideon, about like how they talk, like, I'm like, the command of English. Like, if you sat with Professor Soyinka and you listen to like his command of English language, or Chimamanda Adichie, their command of English is the same way people can command Python, the same way people can command C#, the same way people can command Go, the same way people can command R, and all of that. So understanding the frameworks, how it's written, how it's built is extremely important, and that in itself provides huge opportunities. Let me just round up with this. Artificial intelligence evangelists, AI prompt engineers who are basically teaching us what kind of prompts to write, natural language processing experts, machine learning engineers, data scientists. All these guys are millionaires in 2024, millionaires. I'm talking about the opportunity to finish one job, start one job in January, start another in March, start another in June, start another in December. There's not enough of the people. And how quickly can you venture into that? Pick up a programming language to learn. If you don't want to learn a programming language, pick up a framework. If you don't want to learn a framework, pick up a tool that is already existing and take it to companies to make sense of it. Just people who are even selling AI software are going to do remarkably well. It's just so crazy. Like, people looking for. Let me use this to bridge into confidence. People who are looking for vulnerabilities in existing artificial intelligence systems are going to make a hell load of money. Like there's just a massive opportunity. Like I'm looking for a manager right now. Like I'm looking for multiple managers. Come and manage me, please, because I need to make this money. Like there's just a huge opportunity, to just do a lot. I can't say it all in one breath, but it's just amazing.
One of the things you're doing, and I can see it in the comment section, is that you're igniting people's imaginations, and people are getting excited. And I think this is key for people to move to their next, I don't say next level, but move to their next career choice, career decision, because this is the place where a lot of people are today. I just feel like we should just keep quiet for like 10 seconds
just take that in.
To take everything in.
Just assimilate that. Just bask in it.
Let it go. let's just calm down for a bit. See, I don't even think we're going. See, I already have 68 questions. Right?
Hey.
I don't know how we're going to do this, but yeah. And someone is asking, this recording, definitely we're going to keep it. We're going to push snippets out. Some of the questions, if we can't fully answer, we're going to throw it back to Shola, and then let's see how he answers. And we can even make it a series. And I think this is deserving of a part 2. The reason why we couldn't get enough of Coco, we had to call her back. Okay, so guys, okay. I'm still taking this one. Let me say this. And talking about being at the frontiers of knowledge, researching, looking for the next big thing. At UKC yesterday, I was doing a forward for my friend. So don't ask me how far my book is coming, but I was doing a forward for someone, a friend. And one thing that I wrote, because this guy started one career and ended up in like 3-4 careers before he got to 50. All right, and then he was bossing every single field. I was looking at a UKCS study, and what was said, and I'll read it out, you guys, and understand this. It says that the idea of a single education followed by a single career, finishing with a single person, is over.
I agree. I agree.
Over, guys.
I agree.
Right? And this is tons of research, and this is what they came up with. All right. So the people who are going to be relevant are guys who will relearn, unlearn, look at what's going on, and see how they can adapt and keep moving and keep moving and keep moving. That's the era we're in. Tough for guys who. Okay, go ahead.
Buddy, I also want to say something about that. I mean, I saw a quote somewhere also that was defining the 21st century illiterate. It's not the person who didn't go to school. It's a person who can't unlearn, relearn, just keep evolving. That's a person who is not literate in this century.
Two things. The words that I came across that totally changed my perspective about this same subject is being ambidextrous, being ambitious and being dexterous. So there's dexterity and there's ambition. Like those two things are the key things for this century. So essentially in one single decade, I could have been a broadcaster, a philanthropy manager at Microsoft, an educationist at Coven Labs, and building a startup at Vesti right now, and still being an AI evangelist, like essentially. Secondly, the most critical skill, when my wife asked me, what should we teach our children? Like, what should we get them to do? The easy thing to say is that the easy thing to say is, let them become computer engineers. No, like if my parents got it right, like my parents thought pharmacy, medicine was going to be the thing. Like we found out something else. So it's really teaching them the ability to learn. So confidence already said it. That's it. So I put an eye mark in my daughter's room when she was 3 years old. And my wife thought we should teach them. Like I should sit her down and teach her. I've never taught my daughter how to use a computer. We just left the computer in her room, 3 years old. She's 8 now. Like she can do anything she needs to do. So essentially it's the ability to learn, because we don't even know whether we're going to be on this planet. Like I believe in like being multi-planetary and like, so we don't even know whether we're going to be on this planet like the next 4 or 5 decades. Like, so what will be most important will be the ability to learn. That's the most important thing. Unlearn, learn, relearn.
Absolutely.
So Shola, can I even add to that now? Like I was reading a book. Oh my God, it's by Adam Grant. I can't remember the title of the book now. It's a book I'm currently reading. Can you imagine? But he said something about learning in that book and how people talk about like styles of learning. Oh, this one is not my style of learning. Oh, I can't learn online. I need someone to teach me. Guys, this is the time to wake up. This is veering off our conversation, but this is the time to wake up from that. Cut yourself off. Begin to think about learning also as a way to stretch yourself. It's uncomfortable. If, for example, you were more like someone to teach you and you're someone that was waiting for someone to teach you, this is the time to get reminded that there is no one You may not have the opportunity to get someone to teach you. Take it into your own hands. Be proactive with your learning, and begin to get comfortable with getting uncomfortable in your journey to learn and grow and to stretch yourself. Whether or not the styles available to you are comfortable, get comfortable with being uncomfortable in those styles of learning just to grab knowledge. Grab knowledge at all costs, like Monile grabs land.
Okay, so that definitely will stick. That will stick. All right, cool. So let's move on very quickly. I would say we ran out of time, but I think we've covered a lot. Sisi Nerd, how has cybersecurity fared in 2023? High points, low points. What is it about the field? I mean, from your own point of view, because I also saw. Yeah, go ahead.
You say what you're going to say. You also saw what?
No. I was saying what's that thing called? I saw Shola do that as well, talking about the culmination of the entire year, stuff that has been achieved and blah, blah, blah. How has it been for cybersecurity?
So what I would say, or rather how I attack that is with starting with my own projections for the year. I usually write like this projections for the year, and I think I posted across my social media platforms let me check the date. Usually it's early January I get to do this, right? So you will find this on my Instagram. You'll find this also on my what's it called again, on my LinkedIn, right? So I spoke about trends that would shape 2023, and let me read some of them. You're going to see how strongly they were. I'm happy that I was right, and for some of them I'm not happy that I was correct, right? I said that there was going to be a wave of secure by default, where a lot of software developers, a lot of software firms, a lot of big tech will begin to bring security into products by default. So things like turning on two-factor authentication now is not something you get to turn on for some tools. They're already turned on for you. Well, we see in 2024 now, even like GitHub is saying, better turn this thing on, right? Even though we're going to turn it on for you. So secure by default was a key thing I projected was going to happen. There also became policies around it, around what state code should be shipped, and we're seeing that with CISA driving that in America very much. I also predicted abuse and weaponization of legitimate applications. So we're seeing a lot of that also, or rather we saw a lot of that in 2023, where legitimate applications were used by bad actors to basically spread malware. Ransomware attacks also came from very legitimate applications. We saw a lot of apps on app stores, for example, that looked innocent, but then they became the Trojans, there were spywares and all of those kind of things. So I spoke about this in my projection for 2023. I also spoke about multi-factor authentication being bypassed. We've had really big breaches where multi-factor authentication existed, but then bad guys found a way around it. So again, speaking to the fact that there is no absolute security, and then there is with MFA as well, like multi-factor authentication, there are levels to this. So there is, this song they say inside EVA they inside. So let me use that. Inside multi-factor, there are still grades to it, right? So using the best version is highly advised. Then I also spoke about artificial intelligence in cybersecurity being an arms race in a bloody war. That was the phrase I used. And really we can say, like Shola just said, it's like a knife, right? A knife can be used to chop your potato. A knife can also be used to chop a finger off, right? If I was a mafia, right? So I'm saying that to say we've also seen clearly, everyone is trying to use and leverage AI to innovate and to protect innovation, right? We're also seeing the bad guys, being able to use it easier to do all sorts. We've had a major scam that has broken out in 2023 that could take your loved one's voice and use it as though it was a loved one that was speaking to you. Again, that is something that we've seen because of this outburst, right? I also spoke about novel monetization of ransomware and phishing evasion. In fact, ransomware attacks in 2023 were gangster. They were so gangster that a particular company was breached. The company refused to report the breach to the regulator. The guys who breached them went and reported to the regulator that, see these guys, they said you're supposed to report, and you breach them on, they're supposed to report within this time frame. They've not reported though. Like, how they see us finish rich. So we've had those funny scenarios where a thief breaks into your house and goes to report to police that I stole their TV. How come they are not reporting to people that I stole their TV? So we've seen monetization on a crazy scale, just as I had predicted. We've seen the bad guys really struggle with that. But I want to also bring out a high from this as well. We've also seen a record level of collaboration between government and the private sector. In fact, I don't know if you remember Equinox. Some of you that have been in this space for a while, Equinox was breached years ago, and it totally ruined credit for a lot of people because, again, the data was used by the bad guys and all of that. This year, Equinox could have been breached again. And the only reason Equinox was not breached is because CISA, the agency in charge of cybersecurity in America, got a head start of how the bad guys were attacking businesses of their kind. And then they called the chief information security officers of all of these organizations and told them, these are the things to look out for. If you have this tool, make sure you do this, you patch this and all of that. And it gave them a 72-hour head start. Do you know what it means to give you a 72-hour head start, for a breach that could happen? So they saw it happen in 72 hours. They tried to breach them. They could see from the logs. But because they had taken that advisory, they were able to also protect themselves. Another high I want to also speak about is that the regulators like CISA, for example, and the agencies that really protect us around the world, because of their really hard work, they're beginning to seize the assets and arrest the really top guys. So some of you may know Black Cats, or Alpha Gangs. These are ransomware groups that are saying, give us 20%. We'll give you the tools, right? Go and hack, go and collect your ransom. Then you only give us 20% or 30%. Wow. That sort of ratio is very monetized like that, right? We will build the infrastructure, everything. So now what CISA is doing is they're going after them, seizing their assets. In fact, there's been a seize and unseize going between Black Cat and CISA in the past week that just finished now. So we've seen that happen on a large scale, and I'm very excited about that. But just to go on and just close out on this, I spoke also about, in fact, I had a full page around maturing criminal marketplaces and expansion of crime as a service. I don't want to bore you with how that played out, right? That was like on script. I'm not happy about that bit, but we can see, in fact, there was an email that went around sometime, I think, mid this year, right, where they were saying, you know what, if you work for this company, we're going to give you this, we are sharing the profit this way, just from inside, breach the organization, right? Wow. So cybercrime as a service is a big deal right now. So what, again, the people that are really doing, the people on my side of the fence, which is defense, is just basically seeing how we can shut down those places, protect the enterprises that we work with. And second to the last, which I put out, was power to the people, but not without the scams. And I talk about how Web3 and it was really at risk, and we see clearly how that played out this year in terms of crypto and all of the hacks and all of what happened there as well. Very high level, very high. Would I say high? The very high. What do they call them? I can't remember. High. You guys remember? Remind me. Like, give me English. High stakes. Is it high stakes? Yeah. High profile, yes. High profile attacks really came to be. But the last one I have here is the rise of regulation to mitigate supply chain risk. So we're seeing that really happen. I'll give you an example of how that has played out in terms of regulation. For the first time this year, PCI DSS, which is a standard that actually gets to protect data, cardholder data across the world, they have clearly recognized the role of API security, and there is now regulation as to how APIs should be built, how APIs should be secured, how people who build APIs should be regularly trained, and things like that. These are all sort of how regulation gets to help us mitigate this risk, because APIs are literally connecting the world. They are the plumbers, they are the plumbing system of what we have as digital innovation as we have it today, right? So before now, we didn't have that clearly stated out way in which these frameworks, these things can be adopted, and then they should be secured. So I'm saying that to say, again, APIs and a lot of other kinds of technology was connecting us, and it's connecting us, basically, Internet of Things and things like that, connecting us, right? And regulation around that is what's going to really help us with protecting that. And so I projected that as well. So just to close that with the highs and the lows, I think that biggest low was a casino that was breached in America, and that cost about $100 million in losses. So that was a very big thing, right? And the breaches this year have also been really big still. So like the data that has been lost in all of that, the data that has been stolen, we are at a record high in terms of that. But I mean, one part of it that I take solace in also is if data protection is done correctly, a lot of that data, for example, would be stolen but will be useless in the hands of those who stole it if encryption, for example, was done right. So that is one part. And of course, my high would be the proactive way in which we are collaborating. And it's not just collaborating within the country, we are collaborating across borders. You're having intelligence flow from, say, the United States to Nigeria to Kenya as to an attack or attacks types that are coming to be. So that sort of collaboration, we have never seen it before. Before now, what we see is the bad guys collaborating so well, right? The bad guys don't know who is Oga, who is it. No, they're talking to each other. They're sharing tools of the trade. Flat. We are the ones that are saying, you know what, this one, we have collaborated way more, and I believe that in 2024 we're going to see more collaboration. But yeah, that is sort of like my summary.
Oh my goodness! And it's a good thing we're recording this one. Lots of gems being thrown around. Guys, I do hope you are taking points. Now, our questions have gone to 99.
Before you go and ask questions, so
okay.
Speaker to speaker now. I have a question about so the way you have standards for card data and all of that with PCI DSS. Is there actually a standards organization for APIs as well? Or some guidelines? What would that be? Is there an opportunity there? There are sockets connecting the world, and now people are realizing how important they are. Has there been some form of overarching entity like that, the way you had CISA, your PCI, SOC, and SOC 1, 2, all of these certifications that you need to do? Same way you have ISOs for processes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, we don't have that yet, but I think we have sort of guiding principles around it. I think that in coming years that would be something that definitely gets to happen, because it's too big a deal not to protect, right?
Exactly.
Especially because of how much we are having data flow. I mean, with open banking getting to happen, for example, at scale, in 2024 and 2025, where data is freely flowing, information freely flowing across regions, right? And the way it's going to get to happen, I believe that there needs to be some sort of framework around it. But in the absence of it, we have things that guide. So we have, for example, the OWASP top 10 is basically people generally across the world saying this is what we're seeing happening in APIs. It's the biggest threat. This is the way that the bad guys are going about it, and they're documenting it. They're documenting not just the threat and how it gets to happen, they're also documenting how people should protect against it, right? So that's usually captured in the cheat sheet. So anyone watching this, if you go to OWASP, you look at the risk, they're usually top 10. You go to the cheat sheets if you want to learn how to protect against it, right? So that is one that's there. And then they're having bobs and pieces of it put in different kinds of regulations. So, and then guidelines and standards. So for example, PCI, for example, is saying in the way that you should build APIs, this is how you should build them. This is how you should keep the data and all of that kind of thing. So we've not had something that is cut out for APIs, but I see that happening very soon. That's actually some of the predictions that I have out for 2024 as well that's coming, that there needs to be cut out regulation. Because, I mean, Shola, you know that regulation is a two-edged sword, right? It can be a stifler for innovation, and it could also be a protection for innovation, right? So
there'll be concerns. There will be concerns. If you create that, would that get more innovation or not?
Exactly.
But I just wanted to tell people watching us that that's how I determine areas to go. If not, why not? You're in your 30s, you're in your 40s. Where else do you want to do stuff? Why, if not you, who else can? Why do you have a degree? Why do you have knowledge? Why do you have time? So those are the kind of things. We just established the American Center for Artificial Intelligence, which is a nonprofit that is, fostering ethical AI. So you said amazing stuff. I think that's really remarkable. But I think some people should be sitting down to think about it could be thematic. It could be focused on maybe government APIs or security APIs or API for things that have to do with children or, you know, and things like that. Even if you can't get like something that is completely overarching, you know, over it. But I think there should be something there. And again, that's how I determine like places I want to venture into. Like we have to do exponential shit, like things like are going to show that, you know, it's for our lifetime. Oh, sorry. I forgot our audience for a minute, but I mean, this is also Instagram. This is also Instagram. By the way, some people should not be watching Instagram. India, not. Anyways, pardon me. So essentially, that's what I wanted to get from that. Thanks,
thank you.
I get you. And guys, the simple logic there is find a problem and then think of a solution for it. I'll add a bit of Chinua Achebe to this, just to tell you that literature and science can work. They say Aneke the bird, I don't know if you know that quote. Aneke the bird said that since the hunter has learned to shoot without missing, the bird also has chosen to fly without perching.
That's right.
Have you heard that before?
Yes.
So it's
I have.
evolution and innovation.
Honestly.
By both parties.
Honestly.
All right, so let's bring this home just a bit, all right? Again, like I said, you know the audience. Shola and Confidence, this is a question to you both. I am a young guy out of the university or maybe still in the university. What are the basic skills I need to have to prepare myself for a career in AI and in cybersecurity? All right, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I always say, first of all, at least go and learn desktop publishing. So be able to use basic digital literacy. Basic digital literacy is understanding how to use the internet, like many people still don't. Okay. Be able to understand how to use email technology, be able to understand how to use browser technology, you know, be just all that basic stuff, right? So don't just be the guy that every webinar you join with your phone, like try to get a computer, have a computer, no matter what. You know you're doing, get a computer.
So get Laffy.
That's what we're trying to help. That's what we're trying to help.
And in terms of skill sets, it's basically at the beginning, if you want to know AI, you want to know cybersecurity, go and learn about the fundamentals of computer programming. Like, it doesn't mean you're going to be a coder, but it puts you in a frame of mind. You're a problem solver. You know, as Confidence said, he unleashes that creator power in you to be like, I actually made this. Like, you know, I made this software to do this. You know, so learn that basic, you know, computer programming. It's really important. You know, I think thirdly for you is to basically just have that, I think the greatest skill to build. I don't know what things you can use to build it other than, like, it's like a chicken egg thing. Other than failing and failing again, is resilience. Like, you have to be resilient. Like, there's no, all of these things we say, the easier said than done. No. Everybody else will be
sorry, Shola. Let me even enter that point you just brought. Somebody was messaging me a few days ago. I was talking about how they were struggling with learning JavaScript, and because they couldn't get a hang with that, you know, the person has hooked like 3 different parts, and they're trying to learn cybersecurity. I'm like, do you actually think that there's anything that's easy? No part is easy. Nothing is easy. You have to focus and be disciplined.
We are looking cool now. I'm wearing my wife's Gen Z glasses. They will call you boring. Yes, they will tell you are boring. You have to get to that point where you are so dedicated to the learning that it seems like you are boring. Those are the characteristics that shows that you are going in the right direction. Anytime it feels like you're no longer going with the crowd, they will be busy with concerts, football matches. You will miss your Champions League finals just because you want to catch up with the webinar, just because you want to catch up with the course. Go and finish everything that is free and available on Coursera. Finish everything that is free and available on Udacity. Finish everything that is free and available on you know, Nano Degrees by Google Learning, LinkedIn Learning. They come and buy AI consulting.
On YouTube. Come on, go to University of YouTube.
People come to me and say they can't pay for $1,000 courses. I'm like, it's not for you. You don't understand. It's not for you. If you have not been successful in a career where you can afford $1,000, go and learn all the free things that we also started with first. Don't stress yourself. Say, let me pay in installments. No. Don't use that money to buy food and a computer for yourself. Instead,
and fuel for your generator.
Fuel for your generator, Wi-Fi. Instead, go to
Data.
Go and consume. And that's a very interesting thing, by the way. Like, people can never understand the context of the word data when we say it. They will say, I don't have data.
Internet bundle.
You know, so first of all, get yourself out of that. Like, focus on everything free you can get. You know, University of Maryland has this, University of this has that, you know. So I think those are like the things I'm going to advise as you get on this journey. Before you now start doing boot camps with Coven Labs, with what's the name of this other one? Utiva, with University, with Rise Labs and all of that. Before you start doing all that, you know, look for everything that is available for you for free. Do you know how many YouTube hours that are available to learn some of these things? You know, I tell people there are over 1 billion pages of information on the internet. Like, you can just be lost in it. Like, I slept at 4:30 a.m. this morning.
Sorry, Shola. Shola, please, can I step in there?
Yes.
You know, when and I used this analogy last time I was here, because a lot of times people come and meet me, oh, be my mentor, or how do I get into cybersecurity? That is not the way to ask that question. No. Go and do some weeding by yourself, right? Go and do what Shola has just said. Explore a bit. When you come to someone like me to ask questions, when you're asking the questions, they're deeper, right? And I use an analogy. I said, if you sit in your house, I don't have water, right? But there is a borehole down your road. The person who sits in the house and says, I don't have water, or the person that takes a pail, goes to the borehole, right? Puts the water in the bucket, but cannot lift it up to their head. Which of them will get help first? The person at the borehole, right, that just needs someone to lift the bucket of water and put it on their heads. So the key thing is, go and explore those free things first. By the time you're coming to ask me any question, in fact, I'm blown away by how much you've even taken a bet on yourself to go and find out. And you're asking me those questions from an informed place. You're asking me, okay, so I have explored threat intelligence. I've explored vulnerability assessment. What's the difference between the two fields? How does it align with these other skills that I had before? You see the difference between these two people's questions, right? Of course, I want to answer this other person who has taken a bet on and said, okay, I've done this Coursera course. I've done this on YouTube. I've done this. I would like some clarification around issues with packet tracing. If you're talking to me about that,
like, okay, this is it.
Now you're talking. You get me? Not how do I get to cybersecurity? You have the internet. You have a phone. You've learned how to use Instagram. You can learn many things.
This one is hard. This one is hard confidence, but I'm going to say it all regardless. I tell people, don't ask me any question you haven't first of all typed in a Google search. It's hard. It sounds like you're being too hard, you're being too elitist, but I mean, I get 9,000 messages in my DM every 3 days. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, because I'm doing migration as well and other things that that I do. So, you know, you can't message me and say, how do I get into artificial intelligence? Like, ask Google. Thankfully, in 2023, ChatGPT came along in late 2022. ChatGPT came along. It's incredible that even these questions that Sisi Nerd is asking, that you can still ask her about, like correlations of this and that, which would at least encourage her to say, okay, this person has been learning. Use ChatGPT to ask these questions. The moment people got excited after a few weeks of trying out ChatGPT, they forgot to use it for anything meaningful anymore. So people don't ask. Like, I mean, like, I'm out like in the nights with fellows and I'm literally like making a search on GPT and making comparisons and sending the right prompts and all of that. So it's interesting that one of the key things I think I learned early on is to first of all be able to ask on a Google search before I go on to ask a mentor. So many of the 68 questions that people have asked today, like let's play the same game. As you're listening to this, I mean, I don't want you to leave the Instagram, but once you're done with this, like try to ask those questions. You'll be amazed what you're going to find, and just spend time again looking at it. You know, so I'm glad I'm able to say it on Maniville, because if I say it to somebody directly to DM, they're going to look at you as puffy and arrogant.
Maybe this video can make it to Insta blog and they'll be abusing us.
Maybe, just maybe.
But I hope they learn what we're actually getting to say, because I mean, they should also be finding those things by yourself. Is you get more courageous, you get to even feel excited that you found some answers by yourself, and those things stick. That's aside being sounding intelligent to us, right? It sticks with you, it stays with you.
It makes you feel invincible.
Exactly. Makes you feel powerful. Exactly.
So even this one, I showing himself, I don't even have to act him. Like,
it's a good feeling. So please research, find those things, and they're not hard. They're everywhere now. It's just about what people like us can do is maybe help you with the roadmap, help you pace yourself,
Yes.
help you know what comes before the other. Maybe
things you won't find in a search.
do you understand? Based on your own context, those are the things we should be helping you with. Not how do I get into cybersecurity? No, the answers are everywhere.
That said, because it's money asking us,
we can answer.
Yeah. It's a cybersecurity and AI career, right? And I think, one of the things I wanted to point out was that some of the things you have pointed out and mentioned, it's not like getting another certification, or it's not like getting another degree, or like getting some piece of paper. It's largely around working on yourself, doing the hard work, and doing stuff, that people generally would not do. And I think that that's important for the audience to learn and to llisten to. Confidence, did you finish saying your own, or have we talked about it?
Okay,
she has not even said
I was enjoying, and I think this is why this conversation is so nice, right? If I was using Nigerian English, I would say it's so sweet. The chat is sweet, right? It's because we're just flowing into each other's ideas,
great,
right?
Actually, and that's great.
Yes. So I was saying something about just what we said before around just knowing how to learn, right? Once you know how to learn, there is nothing you cannot learn, right? Maybe with some guidance, right, you can then accelerate that learning. That's what guidance can really help with. But I mean, if I was to say how people can get into, the work that I do, the first key thing I would say is begin to explore the foundations first. Understand how computers work in general. Don't come and tell me that you want to be in cybersecurity and you don't know how a computer is how I'm able to talk to you from here, and then where you are, you don't know. I could be in a different time zone from you right now. You don't know that, right? But you're able to hear me. What's the science behind it? Knowing how computers work generally is very important. So if you want to learn cybersecurity, go and first learn about technology, generally speaking, right? And then from there on, begin to learn about networking as well. Networking is very, very important. And when I mean networking, not meeting Shola, right? That's great. Not meeting Shola at a conference.
Computer networking.
Computer networking is what I'm talking about, right? Understanding that is very, very important because that helps you for whatever part of cybersecurity you want to explore. And that brings me to the next point. Cybersecurity has niches. So it looks like a drop in the ocean, but it's an ocean by itself that is inside an ocean, right? So I find that one of the biggest challenges that people get to have as a problem is that they don't know there's so much information and they don't know how to streamline that information. One tip I give people is to use the T strategy. So when you're learning the basics, of course, you learn about operating systems, you learn about cloud computing, because again, that is a computer somewhere else, right? You learn about those concepts, right? So all of those things are your basics. They form your base. Learning about Linux operating system, the Windows, the servers, those are all basics. Then you go and then pick a niche. So you see you're picking, say, vulnerability assessment, right? And then you kill it there, and then you broaden out after that. So you start off lean, create your base, start off lean, and then you broaden out. That is how you're supposed to learn this thing. And that's how you're supposed to learn this thing in a way that doesn't keep you learning it for 2 years without anything. But you don't learn cybersecurity, you do cybersecurity, right? So a key, So a key thing is don't sit down with just the theories or anything. You have to get learning with doing. So setting up a home lab is very, very important. Trying to get that first job to get an entry is also very important. And if you can't get that job, start creating those things that are solutions for the companies you're looking to serve. So for example, I wanted to be a compliance person, right? My part of cyber I chose was governance, risk, and compliance. Pick up a startup, right? Begin to write policies for them. Begin to find a way to solve their problems in a way that by the time you're sitting in front of that organization at any point, interviewing, you already have, okay, this is what I have done. This is what I have done. This is how it sits with your industry, right? So begin to look at that industry or those set of industries you're interested in and begin to create solutions for them. That's very, very key. And just to tap it all off, right? While you're learning, I highly, highly recommend that you learn publicly. The best way to learn is to learn publicly. What I mean by that is learn teach others, learn, show other people about your learning journey. That way, you will first and foremost attract opportunities to yourself. Also, you attract a set of people that want to support you. I mean, if there's anything I can say about cybersecurity is that we are quite a community, right? You say you want to do anything, we are going to rally behind you. So when you're learning publicly, you'll get people that would help you with resources. You'll get people that would say, oh, point out something that was wrong and help you get it better. So I would say definitely learn publicly and put out your skills. And just the last tip to get a job, if there's something that I would say, generally speaking, I would highly recommend is don't focus on certifications. Like I've spoken all this while, what you're doing is you're stacking on skills, right? The core skills you're stacking on is around tools and around processes, right? You're stacking on tools. So you should be able to find out what tools are required for that job role you're trying to perform. And the easiest way to do that is find a job opening. So I want to be a SOC analyst, right? I can Google job opening for SOC analyst. Look at the job opening. Pick up 65% of that job opening in terms of what's required. Learn the skills there. That's how you can chart your roadmap. So chart your roadmap around the tools that are required for that job function. Chart your roadmap around the other sets of knowledge skills that are required for that job function. That is the way I would highly recommend it. But at the end of the day, remember that you are not a cybersecurity professional to find problems. You're a cybersecurity professional to solve problems. So always think about it, that how is what I'm learning going to aid innovation? How is what I'm going to do going to solve problems for that company? And I would say that once you're able to do a lot of this, I mean, it's not all encompassing what I've said, but these are just really core guiding principles to not hold yourself back. Begin to learn with what you have. Begin to do what you need with what you have and grow on from there.
Guys, I'm clapping. I'm glad we did this, guys. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, but I want to try to bring it all together. But I will have to say this one. You don't learn cybersecurity, you do cybersecurity, right? This is like Nike, just do it. I can just drop the mic at this point.
Just do it.
Just do it like Nike. Guys, absolutely fun. See, the questions are off the hook. I mean, I have over 115 at the moment. We can't take the questions. Here's hoping that we've answered the questions as we have spoken. We will take it again. But I mean, at the end of the day, the guys just told us, go and check Google first before you ask the questions. We're going to do some shotgun answers. We call it Meets and Facts. It's how we have fun here on the Maniville live series. And then I'll just throw this, and then we go into trying to give someone a laptop, all right? And some data. So this goes to Shola. Shola, artificial intelligence will take our jobs. Myth or fact?
Complete myth.
Why?
Complete
Tell
myth.
us 2 sentences, yeah.
So fundamentally, job roles evolve from generation to generation, right? There are just certain job roles that will go into extinction because there are new and better ways to do them. So see artificial intelligence as a better way to do our jobs. So essentially, that would mean that some roles, not entire jobs, some roles are basically not going to be existing anymore. And then people in their jobs would have to learn to do other things that artificial intelligence isn't quite good at yet. So you're going to see that for like the next 20 to 30 years. There will be a shift from things that artificial intelligence can do very well. We won't need humans to do that anymore. Many of those things are actually boring and dangerous. So we will now move to things that AI is not yet good at. So we're going to do more of that. Critical thinking, emotion, care, passion, all of that. All of that dexterity that only our hands can do, that we can't really program AI to do. And then as we move gradually into a point where AI is going to attain what we call the singularity, for those who believe in the singularity, which is a point where artificial intelligence is now capable of recursive self-improvement, meaning that you don't have to train it, you don't have to improve it, it can now train itself. That is really when you now begin to worry. And before we get there, humanity is very good at creating guardrails, so we're going to create the guardrails that are going to get us there. Let me tell you, the aviation industry is more dangerous than artificial intelligence as it is today. That's the truth. If there were no rules around aviation, see me asking confidence about when would there be guidelines on API security. So there will be entire careers around ethics and governance of AI. It will be a crime to build AI in a certain way. It will be a crime to use certain type of data to do this. Like, it will be entirely legislated. Look at Europe is good at that. GDPR, everything. Now they've started. There are concerns around how that will stifle innovation, but that's the caution. It's called healthy skepticism. So that skepticism helps us to be able to protect ourselves. So I don't see completely taking our jobs. There are things that we'll still continue to do. Your own question should be, will it take my job? Will it take jobs? Will it take my job? And if it's going to take your job, assess it very well and start doing something about it. Pretty much.
Absolutely. Coco.
Uncle I. Okay. I just want to add to what Shola just said, which is, sorry, I'm reliving my secondary school and primary school days. But what I was going to add was that in terms of, AI, generally speaking, I think that AI would help us be more human than we were before now. Correct. Like, to lean to our human side. Correct. And it's very important that everything that made us closer to, or rather made us more like machines, repetitive tasks and all of that will be taken away, right? It's the things that make us lean more to our human strengths, our human unique abilities, is what AI is reinforcing.
That's right.
That's crazy. That's a crazy perspective, that AI is going to make us more human, guys. You heard this first here.
Go check out the book, Deep Medicine. Deep Medicine says that artificial intelligence is going to return care back to doctors. Very similar to what confidence is. So doctors will be able to focus on care, not filling HIPAA forms.
Focus.
You'll be able to care for people, not all the things, repetitive things.
Focus,
Fantastic. Coco, this one, I don't know how you and Shola will answer this question, but I'm asking to you first. AI is immune to cyber attacks. Coco, have a stab at it first, yeah?
So I was at a conference I spoke at in Nashville in October, and one of the keynote speakers, spoke about one of the first things that got to happen with that AI wasn't there before now, but now it's 2023 that everywhere scatter, and when that got to happen, they held a hackathon, and then they were able to explore a lot of loopholes and a lot of things. I mean, not just hacking in terms of bringing the technology down, but also even hacking prompts. Again, is quite a thing. It's a thing, and it's a type of attack, right? Because anything that attacks you in the cyberspace is a cybersecurity issue, right? So the ethical sides to it, for example, if AI can become what's it called again? Can become sexist, right? It's an issue, right? If AI, as agreeable as it is, and when I mean AI in this context, a lot of us know AI from the angle of generative AI, right? So if AI, for example, generative AI in this context can become, Islamophobic, for example, that's a problem, right? So all of those things are still cyber threats. But we clearly see this year even, ChatGPT was brought down on the basis of a denial of service attack. Right? You could not use ChatGPT this year 2 times when we had experiences of it, right? Because of denial of service attacks, which is a clear case that it's not immune to attacks. Not only is it not immune to attacks, it is a new surface of attack, right? It's a new way that attackers are going to be attacking us, right? So don't always think about it from that perspective. Any way that you can communicate is a new way to be attacked. So if you look at it from the angle, you know that AI definitely is susceptible to attack. And this is why I say my job, I have assurance for the future, right? As long as there's innovation, there's also going to be the other guys that are trying to fight it. And my job is just protecting civilization. So whatever level of civilization gets the cup, my job is just protecting it, right? So
defense.
really, so that is it. Any curveball we get, we pass, Yes, so.
Okay, great. Shola, so I suppose that answers the question, right? Nothing more to add, right?
Definitely answers the question. It's a fact.
All right, cool. These other questions have been answered, but let's just see if we're on the same page here. AI makes people lazy. Absolutely not, guys. I'm sure you guys agree with me on that one. Yeah,
Absolutely not.
it
I'll
doesn't
give you
make
an
it.
I'll give you an
Yeah,
example.
yeah.
Putting together the website for American Center for Artificial Intelligence, and I needed to generate all of the content for the website. And I did it in about a day or two, and it made me realize how difficult it is to actually use prompts to generate content.
Valuable
You know, if
content.
valuable content, if anything, it's actually what shows me that, oh, wait, you know, the way people thought, oh, because there's Bluetooth now, you don't have to take pictures to people, because there's email, you don't have to go to the post office, because it creates a different layer of hard work to be able to even read what the generative AI has generated, to know whether it's correct, to know whether it's in line with what you should be doing, to fact check, to do referencing and sourcing, to do all of those kind of things. So it definitely doesn't make people lazy. If anything, it helps us to explore a layer of intelligence we've never imagined that we could explore.
And just to add to what Shola said, I really like how profound that was. I saw recently an activity in a school in America where the teacher knew that they were using ChatGPT, right, to do their courses. So what he did was he gave them a prompt, or he gave them something to ask ChatGPT, and then he asked them to evaluate how correct it was. So now it wasn't a case of give me a correct answer. No, he asked them to critique the answer from generative AI. That tests if you actually knew something for yourself. And I believe that that's the next place education is getting to. I even like, I mean, let's not go into the conversation of whether or not degrees and all of that is like taken out of the place. But I'm saying that to say that learning and knowing stuff for yourself even helps you use generative AI better, and it helps you unlock deeper levels of value. So, I mean, the next level will be interrogating your own intelligence, be able to use AI to its max.
That's right.
Fantastic. This last question, I think, is the one I would ask before we go into Shola and Coco choosing two people who will get laptops. Did I just let the cat out of the bag? Okay, two people. Maybe three, actually. And I'll use Shola's quotes to answer the question, guys. So just to know that we've been listening. So it's AI is too complex. And that's whether it's a myth or a fact. And I'll remind you guys that the human mind can comprehend anything that a human mind has created.
That's right. That's right.
And that's what it is. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. But honestly, if you stick with it, you'll be amazed. One of the greatest, I think, the greatest linguist was also a scientist. If I remember his name correctly, and I have English students in the house, I think it was Noam Chomsky. All right, he had a degree in English and then a degree in sciences, proving that you can actually bridge both. And that's the reason why the language facet of English is more scientific than it is literary. You know, if you studied English, you'd understand what I mean. So there's language and there's literature. All right, so you can do anything. All right, I came from a literary background, and I'm doing tech, and see how many places Shola and Coco have evolved from. All right, cool. All right, guys, thank you so much. Let's do this. The team at the back end has been vetting, looking at
Sorry, Manny, sorry. I that thing you just said, sorry, I know, but let's not let it go.
Yeah. How
because a lot of times when we talk about this, they talk about tech from a tech angle, right? Basically a technical angle, right? Let me put it that way. But there are many non-technical roles that we need to be feeling. You see, what you're doing, Manny, you cannot be a tech salesperson without understanding tech.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's a different set of skill sets as well. So Shola also touched on it. He touched on even selling AI. You know, and in cybersecurity, same thing. You need people with cybersecurity skills to be in cyber sales, right? So please, as much as we're talking about the technical sides of our careers, there is also another side of it that even has a lot of money. Let's ask Ogamani how much he's making. Don't. Yes, the boss has more more money, so don't mind it. He's whining also. But the guys with a lot of money are in non-technical side of things, and the business side of tech. So please don't snooze on these things. If you believe that your skill sets as well and what your interests are not necessarily doing the technical bit, you can take the technical knowledge and still sit in the non-technical part of things. But yeah, that's what I want to try out there as well.
Great. Guys, if you've learned, I mean, I don't need to ask you guys. You guys are burning the entire chat section, and we're even having a problem trying to document all of the questions to see if we can revisit them again sometime in the future. But I'm going to talk about the top 5 people. And guys, Shola and Coco, thank you for staying with us. And I know this is family time, and I know you guys are at home, but please, you need to stay with us because you need to do us the honor of choosing one of the guys who get the laptop. Shola,
but I think my own comments have stopped coming in. I don't know. I can't. My last comment. I'm just really inspired by resilience of other people. I mean, I had my share, but I mean, those memories are also things that I have to search for now, because it's been a while that I had to express resilience in that way. I mean, I'm still being resilient in many other ways, right? But I mean, speaking about devices and things like internet connectivity issues that are standing in the way of young people getting into tech. I had this recent story I heard from a young lady in our program, our CyberSafe Foundation here. She had she lives in an area where the transformer is always having issues, right? And this was online learning, which means she has to have her devices powered, connect to the internet and learn. And so what she did was, because she needed to catch up with the rest of the class and still keep learning throughout the boot camp, she would go to her church on Friday nights with her computer, sleep over in church.
Wow.
Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, go to attend mornings, the normal church service, and then learn after church service with the electricity in church, and then go home. So she would have done 1 week's worth of learning and overcome her electricity challenges by just being in church, which is also a safe place for a woman, by the way. Most times. I mean, we've had cases where that's not the case, but I mean, most times church is a safe place, right? So I'm saying that to say, I want to really encourage everybody on this live, right? Whatever creativity you need, creativity and resilience means for you in your own context. Let the things you don't have not be totally things that stop you. Yes, they would slow you. They may slow you down, right? But please find creative ways around those challenges. Stay resilient. Like this person I'm sharing their story has stayed resilient to be able to gain the skills, because those challenges exist in our world where we are, right? But also remember that the way that you get to navigate those challenges and the resilience muscle you build is also going to help you later on. These same challenges and being able to work around them and the ability to do that will become a skill in the workplace. I mean, I come to America often, and then I see these billboards of building resilience in children. And but for us, where we are from, right, in our part of the world, resilience is a survival. It's a survival skill, right? You have to be resilient to survive. So begin to think about ways, of course, to be able to achieve what you want to achieve with the limitations you have, and also look at the silver lining, that the muscles of resilience you build around that is also going to be a major plus for you when you go global in tech as well.
Thank you so much, Coco. Thank you, Shola. Guys, we just need to move ahead with the 4 people that we have. And then we would ensure that Cynthia and Omolara definitely get data. That's definitely important. And then we're going to get 2 winners. And I'll ask, I'm hoping that Shola and Coco took notes. We have P Star, Dami Davis, Form Bima, and I am Morachi. Guys, I think you should make a note to some of young folks who have these interesting names on their handles. I want to talk about it, but you guys, maybe you guys should.
Yeah, it's good. It's making us the bad.
Yes, Manny is doing that.
All right.
I've always told people, especially with emails, it starts first with emails.
With
Like
emails, yeah.
all of these gang names, slang names, sexy this, that, all of that, they're not professional. And it starts from a sense of like purpose and just knowing that you are worth more, you're worth something. Like you're not just a mass of meat, walking around the road. You are like someone of purpose. Like someone say, is it that deep? Is it that deep? So understand that we may be talking as millennials, and maybe I don't know, maybe Mandy is a baby boomer. I don't know.
No, I'm not, but yeah, I'm not.
So we'll be talking from that mindset, because I'm learning a lot about like this Generation Z right now, and not from like all the criticism that people are saying about them. Like I'm buying bigger jeans and everything for this 2024 just to never grow old and all of that, So, but we want to tell you that there are things you're very good at that we really admire, that many of us don't understand, that we want to do. But we also want to tell you there are certain things that define professionalism in the world that we live in. And one of those key things is how you present yourself. And we're saying that all those things that do not define you, that you used to define yourself, they are not appropriate. So as much as possible, let your name define you. If somebody checks your Instagram profile, let them be able to know that that's what you want. Be intentional about what you're trying to do. Don't do it accidentally. We feel like all of those names, like Ma, Your, like Sexy, like all of those names that you put, we feel like they don't define who you are. So try to define who you are. If possible, use the name your parents gave you. And if you don't like that one, choose something else. But at least whatever you choose, make sure you are intentional about it, and it's something you want to be able to stand by. I think I wanted to talk about that from a principle standpoint, so that I'm not like specific about any of it, because there's nothing I say that would be able to. But essentially, try to see Sisi Nerd. She's intentional about it. It's not apparently not named as Sisi Nerd, but that's what she wants to stand by. Do you get the idea? So it's really, so we don't want to tell you what you should name yourself, but we want you to name yourself what you want to stand by, and let it define what you want it to define. So that intentionally, so that you won't, because sometimes they will meet somebody that is not money, that is not Shola, that is not confidence, and that's very successful. That is their mental. How did that person have this name and still succeeded? Like for example, you have underscore Ola underscore of underscore Lagos, Ola of Lagos. He wants to stand by that he is the Ola of Lagos. That's why he named himself like that. So if you can't stand by it, if it doesn't mean anything deeply to you and explainable to others, then maybe don't use it.
And just to add to what he's saying before Cynthia comes on, I want to share that, one of the biggest and first tasks that God gave man, right, was calling something by name, because it's one of the most, it's characterization. Like it's calling something that this is how this thing is going to be. That's one of the biggest powers God, and the first task God gave. He said, name, and whatever Adam named those animals, that's what we're still calling them till today. And whatever you tell people to call you, is what they'll call you. It's how, for example, I started calling myself the relatable cybersecurity queen. Immediately, people started, my birthday that year, that was what people were saying, right? The year before, I called myself something, and that was what people called me. So remember that will stand for something. With other people, how they treat you, how they see you, it is because its names are powerful. That is what God has designed them to be. However, whatever forum. And I call myself Sisi Nerd because I want to be a Sisi that is a nerd. And I want to remember that like that. Just as Shola has said, it's how I'm positioning myself. So remember that it's intentional, and it should be as intentional as possible, whatever you choose that thing to be.
Yeah, thank you. And remember that for some of you who want to get jobs in multinationals, all right, Shola? Multinational, okay. We check your social media profiles just to have a sense of who you.
They check everything, even me. If I want to employ you and you look like a Yahoo boy, I will not employ you.
You look like a Yahoo boy without any laptop.
Looks are so important. Looks are so important. They sell you. Like, go and remove all those Instagram where you're wearing only singlets. Go and position yourself. Very, very well.
All right, cool.
Let me tell you that one of the biggest challenges we have is just access to learning devices. So thank you so much for what you're doing.
Thank you so much as well, guys. We've thought about it. Maybe because I'm in a company where we manufacture devices, some of the best devices in the world, if you ask me. Speak to your keyboard. Speak to your keyboard. If you don't agree. But so digital equity is a big deal. We know that we can talk a lot about tech, but if you don't have devices, guys. So whether, there's something that the current minister is doing of digital economy, but we're also saying, it's fine to train people, but how do we get a program where we're getting more devices into the hands of people? So this obviously is our own little contribution, and it's a big deal to us as well. You see those stories, you see the story of Sisi Nerd and that of Shola when they first encountered and fell in love with their devices and laptops, and what it how it created a platform for them to explode in their careers. That definitely is a big deal for me and for us at the Maniville group, in a sense. Okay, so we are getting Cynthia. I suppose that Cynthia is you funkifying the name Cynthia. So Cynthia, and then I think we have Dami Davis. So congratulations.
Cynthia is a cybersecurity girl. I said go and build a sentient AI. So
that's true.
Congratulations for winning, and we will support you even beyond just that, okay? Beyond the laptops, and that's what we try to do, okay? Now, every other person from P-Star to Fombima, Morachi, and Omolara will get data for the month, all right? So we'll also get that across to you. Congratulations as well for winning. It's Christmas. Now, because it's the 12th month of the year, one of the things we also want to do is our own Christmas gift. I don't have my Father Christmas hat now, but I'll put it on virtually. We have looked at over the last 12 months and all the guys who have consistently followed us, who have been on the shows, and who have always been there, learning. Because the laptop is fine, but again, there's digital literacy as well as part of it, but also the fact that they show up and they're learning. And we've identified one guy who we will also gift with the laptop as well today. All right, and his name is Mumtaz Paramole. I don't know, Mumtaz, if you are still here on the show, but he's been a contributor. He's made it to the pitch 3 times or 4 times. I can't remember, 3 or 4 times. But we are glad and happy about what he's doing, and we're hoping that this also can help him in his journey. All right, so guys, it's actually 3 laptops. I don't know if any person guessed it right. I'll ask my team later to see if any person guessed that we are giving out 3 laptops, and that person will also get data as well.
That person also get the 4 laptop.
Give that person data as well. All right. So thanks a lot, guys. It's been a pleasure. We normally don't do 2 hours. I must confess, we do 1 hour. 1 hour 30 minutes.
How could you have pulled up 1 hour on this conversation? How?
But because we had these heavyweights, the timber and caliber of tech, with us, we had to stretch this to 2 hours 30 minutes actually. All right. I wish I could summarize everything that we've learned. We started from what are the soft things you guys know about our speakers. We know Shola is a Yoruba professor. We know that Coco is a food blogger. Was a food blogger. I suppose once a food blogger, always a food blogger. And if there's one thing, obviously, that we'll probably leave with you is the fact that continuous learning is really the key to opening all the doors for you. Shola is saying, look at the research work that all of these companies have done for free. Leverage it. All right. It's equal to standing on the shoulders of those who have gone before
Giants.
you and giants who've gone before you, and leveraging from that. I will take away as well the fact that that there's nothing that is too difficult to learn. All right, take that quote whenever and however you want it to, and of course there's Sisi Nerd who will always be there. So thanks for all that you guys do, Shola and Coco. You guys are great and worthy ambassadors of Africa to the world. All right, we will continue to follow you. Shola, when you start that company, maybe I should invest as well, because I know that it will blow.
I know.
All right.
As in,
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's support. Let's make some money. I think we're there is making money,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
All right, cool. So I'll let you guys do one last parting shot, both Shola and Coco, as we bring this to a close. Okay. Who goes first?
Yeah. So no, because I know Sisi will have some bars, so I'm gonna let her close it out.
excuse me.
She's
Look,
used to
look
mic
who is
drop.
talking.
She's used to mic drop moments. So let me start by thanking everybody for staying till this time and for being part of this, and for those who will watch the recording again, which I consider really hard to do, by the way, because just watching recordings is very hard if you are not in the spur of the moment. But it's not hard if you learn how to, which is just play it when you are doing something else and just keep listening to it again and again. I don't believe any patch of knowledge can be sort of like fully absorbed when listened to only once. I have mentors whose audios I've listened to 100 times. Like I have movies I've rewatched again and again. I have books that I believe in reading over and over again. So I want to say, no matter how hard, I've recognized how hard it is, but I'm telling you that try your best to sort of like listen to it again, and new insight will jump at you every now and then. I think my final word to you would just be that there is nothing impossible to learn. There is nothing impossible to literally become if you set your mind to it. And I know it's cliche, and people have said it 1,000 times, but you have a point to prove as a person of color, as an African. You should really be trying to prove that point. I still believe in this world today. I have met people who still think that talent is the exclusive preserve of a few. But the truth is that talent is evenly distributed. So you have that point to prove that you can be the best at whatever it is you set your hands on.
Fantastic. Talent is evenly distributed. That's another bar.
Opportunity is not.
Opportunity is not.
That's the second. That's the second half of the book.
Go ahead, Coco.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of inspiring things said on this call, but this call will not be life-changing if you do not take action. And I just want you to come off knowing that when you take action, you have the power to change your life. It's not outside of you, right? And a few key principles that you should then take on if this is something very important that you want to do for yourself. First and foremost, you need to be proactive. Everybody on this call that has been rewarded, everybody on this call, for example, that has had something going on in their life that's remarkable, was proactive. They took power in their hands that they have. So you need to be proactive. You also need to be disciplined. There's so much calling for attention today. And it then behoves on you to be able to choose, what you spend your time on, because your time is part of your life, right? Every minute you're spending I'm just giving you 2 hours of my life, right? That's what it is, right? So remember that you need to make these choices and prioritize what's important, and where you're going to is what can really help you. And just speak about the talent thing as well. Remember that when talent, even by its share, if you look at it as an innate ability, which really science has shown that it's not innate, right? You can teach yourself anything. But even when there are people that are the innate abilities to be able to do something very well, if a skilled, disciplined person is picking up that same thing, they can outperform a naturally talented person at doing that same thing. So remember that with that effort, with that discipline, just keep going. And don't get tired of learning how to improve on improving. Right? The more you keep improving and learning how to improve on improving, the more you get better at your craft, and the more you take on the world as your stage. Really.
Thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate this. Hopefully this creates a platform for most of you guys in the audience to begin 2024 with a banger. All right. I will also like to thank the guys who are behind the scenes who have helped put this together. Faramade, great job. Shukra, Chibuzo, Jonah, Joe, thank you so much. Here's wishing you guys a wonderful holidays for those who still have it left, and a great 2024. Follow the handles. Let's keep engaging. Not just mine, every person that has been here. Shola, Coco, follow all of us, and let's keep engaging, and we will succeed together, and we'll make a mark and impact together. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful
Thanks for
time.
coming. Bye.